Hello there. We're going to go over some first aid kit contents here in just about 5 seconds. One of my mottos is redundancy is God, and since my refrigerator failed behind me, and I basically know what parts it needs, I got this smaller refrigerator, which of course it has a freezer unit and a regular refrigerator unit, but I don't like single point failure. Single point failure is, by the way, including situational awareness, is something that they teach you to Navy SEALs and to Delta Force. Single point failure is a problem, which is basically a fancy Army way of saying redundancy is God. So I found that this unit is really good. It's highly rated, so I got another one. There we go. So redundancy is God. It's one of my mottos, right? Redundancy is God. So I still got steri strips on order. This is a first aid kit box. I've actually got another one over here that I'm filling up with stuff. But I'd like to show you something really neat. And by the way, if you buy a first aid kit, which I don't believe in, it's like 90% Band-Aids and like 2 rolls of gauze. And by the way, this is not trauma kit. Some of this stuff, there's crossover between first aid kit and trauma kit. I used to have a fair amount, a lot more than most people, medical training back in the early 90s. And I also, too, used to be a rescue diver and had to learn a lot of first aid stuff and some other things, stuff that I won't get into. But I don't claim to give medical advice. I do not claim that at all. But I do know a lot more than a lot of people. But, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that probably nurses or doctors and will give me tips and tricks. And I'm going to have a video coming up right after this one or in a day on the contents of my first aid kit. But I'd like to point out something really cool to you. Since first aid kits all suck, at least 99% of them, and I don't recommend buying them because they're just bandages and like just some garbage in there. There's this I'd like to point out to you on this particular item. I've been buying these for years. Now I do have a trauma kit and a first aid kit down at my cabin, but I wanted to have one for my truck and also one at the house. I got one in my cabin, which is 60 miles away. It doesn't do me any good. Wanted to have one for my house and my truck. And I'd like to show you this. I just got this whole box right here, including a couple other things. The cost on it was $31. I got it off of eBay. 282 custom item wound prep and care kit. Way better to buy one of these, and I'll show you the contents, or at least some of the contents, and since they're still in baggies. Way better to buy one of these and buy like an empty box like this first aid kit you can get for $5. Of course, you can put it in anything. It doesn't have to be a first aid kit box. I'm actually going to make a third first aid kit for my friend, and I'm going to stick it in this Army surplus pouch. But here's a list of all the contents, and this is only page 1. I got page 2 behind me here. So for $31, you can see they actually checked it down the list, the person that shipped this to me. For $31, what you don't get in this kit is supplemented by going to like the drugstore or Kroger's or buying the rest of it off of eBay. This is really important. I actually, too, over the years consulted with doctors. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I've consulted and asked questions of doctors. I know a couple doctors about what to actually put in here. And steri strips is one of them. I still have steri strips on order. However, I have those up at my cabin. But they recommended this. It's petrolatum gauze. It's basically a petroleum-coated gauze for wounds and burns. After applying whatever ointment for wounds and burns, so on and so forth, they recommended this for being out in the field. Way better than just gauze. So, petrolatum gauze. Here's something really cool, and I think everybody should have these. These are really cool, and they're totally reusable. For sterility's sake, they say disposable, one use only, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's to keep down the spread of germs, but if you're the only person using it, who cares? Now, you can actually cut this off right here and just use the tip of it. And I have one here. It's a liquid crystal. And it gives you your temperature. And after it cools down, it will return back to normal again. So it's totally reusable. Yeah, but obviously you need to wash it off or sterilize it somehow. Alcohol wipe, whatever. But it turns black, and you can see what the temperature is. It goes from 96 degrees up to 104.8. These are really cool. You keep one of these in your wallet, you can take your temperature anywhere, or someone else's temperature. Really cool. I recommend the hell out of these. These are the coolest things since sliced bread as far as I'm concerned. But look what you get in this pack for $31. I took out the petroleum gauze, yeah? And let me just show you here. This is all the stuff that should be in a first aid kit, but isn't, okay? You ever seen a first aid kit? They want like, you know, 30 to 50 bucks for a first aid kit. It just has a bunch of friggin' Band-Aids and some gauze. Well, that's not a first aid kit. It's just not. Once again, we're talking first aid kit here, okay? Trauma, not trauma kit, first aid kit. So we have all of this stuff for 29 bucks. Back here we have some scalpels. These are barred scalpels. As you can see here, I'll let you guess what those are for. Tons and tons of adhesive pads and bandages. And over here, there's some silk tape and regular gauze tape and conforming stretch bandages and tons of regular bandages. There's just a poop load of stuff in here. For 29 bucks, you get a poop load, okay? Including the petrolatum gauze. You could type in, if you go on eBay and type in AFIK, right, AFIK, which is medical injury trauma kit, first aid kit, AFIK kit. You'll actually find this on eBay. Let me see what they actually call this kit. There's different people, different sellers of it. And here we go, 28 item custom wound prep care first aid kit refill. Here's this stuff, bleed stop. Yeah. We call it quick clot, bleed stop, blah, blah, blah. Every first aid kit. No first aid kit that you buy that I know of, I mean, all the consumer, they don't come with quick clot. Absolutely should come with this stuff. Now, a doctor guy that I know recommended this guy. Has been selling this stuff for decades. Here you can see his website. I don't take any commissions or anything like that. Here we go. This is the same stuff, except it's in vials. You pour it into a gaping wound. Once again, I don't give medical advice. Consult your doctor, blah, blah, blah. This is the same stuff in these little vials. You know, you got a gushing wound. You know, you cut yourself pretty deep. You know, you're 50 miles from anywhere. This is the powder that you pour in to the wound. This guy's been selling this stuff now for decades. 100% rating on eBay. He's the only guy that I know that actually sells this. This is way. I don't know if you've ever priced Quick Clot. This is Bleed Stop, same stuff, right? I don't know if you've ever priced Quick Clot, but it is really, really freaking expensive, and this stuff is really, really cheap, and it's the same stuff. So my doctor friend recommended this, and not heard about it. This guy's got 100% feedback. So this is his website, but he also sells on eBay. And I'll make a video on first aid kit contents here in a little bit later today or tomorrow. I'm just busy doing leather work right now, so get yourself one of these kits, yeah? There are like a dozen different people that sell them. They must buy like just piles and piles of medical stuff, and they piece them out and they put them into groups. As you can see, this person went down a checklist, checked out all the items were included. For 29 bucks, get yourself one of these, and everything else you need for your first aid kit or trauma kit you buy separately, but you'll make a way better first aid kit by going this route than, you know, spending 30 to 50 bucks for a stinking box of a bunch of bandages. You can get like 100 bandages and 2 rolls of gauze and some alcohol. Well, that's not a first aid kit. I mean, there's nobody with a half a brain that thinks that's a first aid kit. Of course it's not, so. I've been doing this for years, built more than a few first aid kits, but I realized the closest first aid kit that I have now is down at my cabin, and I need one for my truck and for my house here, but better late than never, I guess. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.